I'm Marv McNeil. I've been an organizational consultant for about 30 years now. Have my own business, living in Philadelphia. LIFO is a great way to gain entry into an organization. So it's one of those few instruments that really enable people to talk about their strengths. And when people talk about their strengths, they get less defensive. So one of the interesting things about LIFO is that it allows the group to open itself up to feedback, much more than any other instrument that I use. You know, the biggest thing I learned from LIFO was the overuse of your strengths. It's one of those things that that you usually don't, bring up. The idea of that your style might change under unfavorable conditions. It's just an amazing concept. So it differs from other instruments in that way because that also allows people to open up to receive feedback. Well, LIFO has been, as an independent consultant, LIFO has been a lifeline. Because when everything else stops and dries up, there's always LIFO. Everyone loves the instrument. They love taking it. They love the idea that it's a very short instrument. They love the extensive-ness of the report. And I would say the one thing that after they understand their style and they understand their backup style and they understand how to extend their style, the other thing it has is it has this whole idea of that you have an intention that's followed by a behavior and then it has an impact. And if you align those three things, you get authenticity. No other instrument does that. And I like that. I use LIFO as a way to begin an introduction to me. So when we're selling and trying to make interventions in an organization, you never really sell the product. You're really always selling yourself. And so LIFO is a product, is a way that I can introduce myself to the organization and create a very trusting environment in a very short period of time. I usually start off by talking about strengths and strength base. So I would say, like, what kinds of tools do you use to actually have people talk about their strengths? Now there are things out there called strength finders and things like that, and sometimes we come up against that. But I find that the concept of overusing your strengths is a great way to gain entry into an organization. So I use that when I introduce it, the idea of strengths and overusing your strengths. The best thing that comes out of the LIFO is the joyous laughter that happens as people let down their defenses and just make themselves available as reliving real people to other people. A lot of times in business, people don't see each other as people. They see each other as roles and things like that. LIFO allows you to get past that in a new and interesting way by talking about these strengths that I have in these four styles. So somebody like, for instance, is a controlling taking person in excess, and you're seeing that in the thing. We go out to lunch and the guy starts asking me if he can taste my sushi. And that's controlling taking in excess. There it is. And that's funny. You can laugh about it. The whole thing about clients utilizing LIFO is they really like the relaxed sense of being able to discuss things at a deep level. So I get that feedback or again and again every time we do it. Go for it. I would say it's, for me as an independent consultant, it's been one of those tools that, like I said, it's just there, and it's something that people love taking, and it's something that's very easy to administer, and it offers an incredible avenue to use for coaching.